He has a near perfect voice. All right, here's the first most important question: who had the better music video appearance? Did Denny Hamlin and Bubba Wallace now in the Post Malone Motley Crue song, or was it Junior when he was in that Jay-Z music video, "Show Me What You Got"?
See, everybody misses the part where Junior has his cameo in Rockstar by Nickelback also.
And in the Sheryl Crow song, Steve McQueen.
Ooh, man. I actually have not seen the whole video yet to the what's Moses Malone or whatever his damn name is.
All right, guys, you are listening to what's the name of our show? Just here for the GLSR. Well, we got our cold open again. We are here again. It's our second episode. We just wrapped up, sort of, the Phoenix race. I am Sammy B. I drive the number 22, and I'm one of the admins here for the league. I am joined by the voice of GSLR, Chris Scala.
Hello. How the hell are you?
I'm all right. Well, I'm actually super excited because we got an OG in the house. Our first guest. They're from Race 1, formerly known as Keith, now known as William. We're not sure what the next name is. It's William Calhoun. Welcome to the show.
Josephine.
Yeah, I love it when you call me Big Pop.
First ever champion, by the way.
First champ.
What?
Yeah, no, I'm this is fun. Like, this is the whole point of this show, is so that we can get to do stuff like this. I mean, Willie asked me, he's like, so am I just on for like a segment of the show or the whole show? And I said, you're going to be here for as much of the show as you want, because I don't know if everyone wants to hear me and Chris ramble every episode. We need some fresh blood. So we got Willie here.
Willie P.
So we might as well just dive right into it. Phoenix race, that was an intense finish. Still don't think it beats Keith going backwards over the finish line, but it's up there.
Yeah. It was a great race all around. You know who really surprised me was Dean. I didn't know he had that much speed, to be honest.
It is such a tragedy. I mean, I'm just gonna say maybe I'm a little biased on this one. This was his race to lose, and he was the fastest guy on track. I don't know how he had the unfortunate turn in where I think it was it Caden who net coded into the back of him.
Yeah, Dean blinked out, so he disappeared for quite a while, and Caden just rear-ended him.
Yeah. And then unbelievably now, in classic fashion, I wrecked out because that's what I do. But I was just spotting for Dean to really try and help him cut through the field, and I was with him when he went through pit road. I cannot believe he got that speeding penalty. He barely touched 46. I mean, barely. It's a 45 mile per hour pit lane. He was touching 46 barely, and it gave him the speeding penalty. And it's like, in that moment, sure, I'm an admin, but it's kind of hands tied, looks bad if I was like, oh, I'm going to clear your black flag. But man, if it was a speeding penalty, it was over just the most fraction of a bit, because I checked so many times and I don't think he ever hit 47. I think he was a little bit on 46, barely.
What? I gotta ask the question there off that. Where did the speeding penalty happen? Because a lot of that can play a role of because Phoenix has the curved pit road. So if you get the right angle and only go 46, it messes up the timing, which is how, if I'm correct, iRacing uses a lot of what NASCAR uses. So it's the amount of time between one mark and another mark.
Didn't Chase Elliott have the same thing? Was it Chase who got that penalty? I think I remember I thought it was Phoenix, there was a race where I remember a very weird similar thing happened where there's like that tight turn at the end where it triggered the speeding pit lane. So I think it was Chase. I might be remembering it wrong. I don't think so because no, Phoenix was the final race in the playoffs. Whatever. It was at the end of pit lane when it gave it to him. And that at that curve. So something weird and wonky happened there. I'm unsure.
It's a whole geometry math, you know. It's was it length times speed equals whatever type
dude,
thing.
I was an art major. I have no idea what you're talking about. But Phoenix, though, that was such a hell of a finish. Dalton is such an interesting driver because I think he notoriously likes to not qualify and rip through the field. If he actually just would qualify for races, I mean, I know he's sitting I pulled it up earlier. He's sitting fourth in points in a really good spot, but I still feel like it could be even stronger if he just qualified half the time. Did he not qualify, or am I thinking of someone else?
He did qualify because I looked on the telemetry during qualifying. I looked over. He had run 2 laps, but I think he hit the wall both times. Or something had to have happened.
Interesting. But I just feel like he does that a lot. But I actually got to watch some of this race, just like crashed. But overall, thrilling finish. I mean, a lot of times we ramble from my perspective, but I usually run in like 20th place. So from your perspective, Will, how was the track feeling at Phoenix, considering we started from morning and then went into the day?
It loosened up a bit, but it felt, I never felt like lack of grip. It got tight, but once it starts to get too tight, I was shifting in 1 and 3 and 4 and it loosened it up and gave a nice drive off the corner for sure.
Yeah, I tinkered with shifting in 1 a bit, but I was surprised that 3 and 4 did come into play later on for that track. But no, I think I want us to do more tracks like that where they're more, I don't want to call them eccentric, but they have unique features. So because the dog league is just such a different challenge.
I think maybe you're searching for the term like a technical oval.
Mm-hmm.
Is that such thing?
We've invented it.
I would call Phoenix a technical oval for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I know, but you said you were surprised by Dean. He was letting us know. I remember we were talking about it, and he tried to walk us through his line, and we just couldn't do it. But like, he talks about how he loves this track a lot, and he was really hoping to get the win because, he was definitely needing a strong finish. He's sitting 9th right now in the championship, and I'm not saying that doesn't reflect him, but I think he had a disconnect issue in Bristol and Bristol pavement, that is. And, the iconic Dagadine situation. He just hasn't had a strong year, but he's a hugely fast driver, of which William, because you were teammates.
Yeah, definitely. Him and I, when we were teammates, it sometimes gets annoying when your teammate is so even with you or just as fast as you, because then you want to move him or race him hard, but then again it's like your teammate and you can't really do that. But his skill level has increased exponentially from season 1 and season 2. I don't know if he's putting in more practice or if he's just getting better over time, but his speed is increased a lot.
This is definitely a little bit off the, this isn't like our official interview part of the show, but is there anyone else, you have been a day 1 racer with GLSR. Is there anyone else in that same category who, you look back at our first, I think our first race was Talladega, thinking about guys who've been here since then, who's made probably, along with Dean, like the greatest strides in improvement that you've been able to sort of bear witness to? Because I think we've all improved, but like, who's really gone above and beyond that?
Man, you're playing a dangerous game, testing my memory. But,
here we go.
It's tough to say because I know for sure with Dean, because we were teammates, we practiced together, we spent a lot of time together. my focus was on him more than other drivers, I guess to say, as far as improvement. But I can say this because I can't specifically say a driver's name for sure, but the general talent with day one drivers, not just the new talent that has joined, but with day one drivers, has all significantly increased. And I think everyone would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun to watch all the drivers grow. I mean, when you look at some of the names, I'm kind of going through the field from Wednesday night. You look at, for example, Blaine Sparling, your teammate there, Sam. I mean, Blaine, he had his struggles, and you've mentioned how he has come back from being a road course ace, I guess we can call him, to learning his oval craft. I mean, I've heard him say some things recently that if I didn't know who Blaine was and stuff like that, I'd have been like, dude, what are you doing on iRacing if you don't know how to turn left? Something like that. But, for an example, Alan Best has run a lot better than what we've seen in the past. You look at, I mean, if you want to say Sean Peachin, but he's always been good. It's just a matter of him being at the right place at the right time to stay out of the wrecks. Those are just a couple of names that I can think of off the top of my head. Even you, Sam, I'll say, has run better, even though your luck's been terrible. I mean, a lot of the guys, if they've been consistently running, they've consistently got better.
Yeah, glad you mentioned Alan Best. He at the start, he was by no means bad at racing or anything, but he wasn't scoring as many top tens as he is now. And that's with the increased talent pool entering GLSR. Mm-hmm. He's still scoring top tens. I think the last 3 or 4 races, he scored a top 10, which is, really well for him.
Yeah, I mean, he I was going to say, like, when I think of guys who have made the largest leaps and bounds in improvement, it's between Blaine and Allen. I mean, Blaine and I can almost call us opposites when we race. Blaine is someone who, and maybe it just comes from the endurance racing he does. He can sit back, manage his tires, manage his emotions, and let the race come to him, and he capitalizes on it again and again and again. Me, I go hell bent, burn out the tires after, a 10-lap stint and go into the wall. And Allen, he had a bad luck stretch there last season. I remember he just could not catch a break, but now I feel like things are clicking for him. Again, I've maintained, I said it on the other show, and I said that we said, do a hot take, and I said Alan Best wins the championship because he's fast at Chicagoland. If he could get to the Final Four, it would be fun to watch him in those races because every time that race comes around, he does good at them. So, no, Alan and Blaine are really up there for just overall greatest improvement.
Well, let me add to what you're saying right there. I'm actually on the Great Lakes website right now, and I've pulled up the numbers for Allen. So let's go back to the beginning of the season. He finished 21st at Chicagoland last season, end the season. From that point, he finished 6th in Talladega, 16th at USA, which was a wild card. He finished 11th at Bristol. Then he finished from here, that point, 11th. 6th in the dirt at Bristol, 10th at Homestead, 7th at Canadian Tire, 12th at Richmond, which is his worst finish since the USA race, and 9th at Phoenix. So he is running consistently from 7th to, we'll call it 12th every week. Now, if there's something that if I were to critique Allen right now and say, dude, this is what you need to go work on, it's qualifying. Because, I mean, he qualified 18th Wednesday, 14th at Richmond, 15th at Canadian, 16th at Homestead, 10th at Bristol, 18th at the Bristol Concrete, 15th at USA. That's no top 10 starts. I'm sorry, 1.
That's a really interesting stat.
When you do look at that stat of average qual versus average finish, he is one of the few drivers that has a very high average qual compared to a relatively low average finish, whereas like a lot of drivers have a high qual, 6th, 7th, 8th, with an average finish of 10th to 12th. So it is interesting how he's opposite of that.
Well, and the person you say that immediately comes to my mind is Brian Sutphin. I know he hasn't raced a lot this season. He's unfortunately had a lot of terrible luck. But I look at I'm just going to go through his career starts so far in the series. He's made 6 starts. He started second at Talladega in May and finished 35th. Started third, finished third at Atlanta. He finished 22nd after being on the pole at USA. Finished 24th at Homestead, qualified third. Finished 7th at Richmond, qualified 8th. So that's his best run since that Atlanta race. Qualified 5th and finished 23rd at Phoenix. Sorry to bring that up, William.
Yeah, him and Justin Bondurant, both extremely fast, but have had struggles finishing the race. I think I can count on more than one hand how many times Justin Bondurant, has had the short end of the stick and disconnected halfway through the race.
Well, you talk about that, just finishing the race. There was a post done by one of our drivers, I'll leave him nameless, where he plugged in all the stats from our season and broke down highest average finish. Number 1, Caden Atkins. Number 2, Dan Cruz. 3, Blaine Sparling. Further down, who's 6th? Alan Best. So they've had stellar finishes. You know who's down in 19th? Justin Bondurant. But he's hella fast. I mean, in the Canadian Tire race, he had better pace than me. It's just that him and I want to say it was Caden got tied up together, and me and Blaine were able to run away with it.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Well, he's
and then, to really rub salt in the wound, I was 23rd, ranked 23rd in average finish. So,
well, he's and Bondurant has had you mentioned the pace and stuff. The one thing that has caught my eye about him, and I don't know if that's a purposeful strategy, but it seems to hurt him every time he does this. Is he is one that will pit early, a lot. I think he did it at Bristol and it killed him. He did it at Phoenix, it hurt him. I've noticed in multiple races, he will short pit and take the chance. Now, of course, one of these days it's going to help him because you always, if you live by it, you're either going to survive or die by it. And unfortunately, he's died by it a lot here in the last few weeks.
Well, I mean, and again, it goes to show just interesting how, consistency pays off for your ranking. But, pretty soon here, and I don't know if there's really anything left to say about the Phoenix race. It's going to make the playoff picture, and especially this Michigan race, an intense one, because that 8, 9, 10, and down to 13th, maybe 12th, it is going to be an intense race watching those, Blaine Sparling, Chris Dean, Chris Evans, Drift, Best,
Alan Best,
those guys duke it out, because Michigan's a track where things can get crazy really quick. So it's between those guys. I mean, Blaine is pretty renowned for just keeping it on track. I'm pretty sure if he can just run his normal race, he'll be all right, but you just don't know. And I mean, especially, and I'm not going to go out and sound nasty, but Chris Evans is a tough guy to race around. Both Richmond and Phoenix, I spent a good portion of the race behind him, and maybe I need to be more aggressive in my attack, but it wasn't on the broadcast. But man, I was bumper to bumper on him for probably 7 laps, just doing everything I could to get past him. And he's a tough guy to pass. He makes it tough, but at Michigan, this is a guy who's won 2 super speedway races. It'll be interesting to see if he can punch his ticket with his renowned defense.
I'm glad you mentioned Chris Evans. I'm taking a step back here, but I think we'd be doing him a disservice if we didn't mention how much he has improved. Last season, he struggled to crack the top 15 all season long. This season, he hasn't been out of the top 10. I don't know if he's in it right now, but if he's out of it, it's the first time this entire season he's been out of it. Since race 1, he's been, top 5. He slowly started to trickle back, but he's been in the top 10 all season.
Wow. And that's shows the consistency he's had. Yeah, he's had some issues and stuff, but he's persevered and fought his way into that kind of a point battle and so on and so forth. I'm actually taking a peek right now. He is 10th right now. He's got 10 points on drift right now in the standings, but 3 top 10s, 2 top 5s. Again, the Daga win. He's got some bonus points here and stuff. So he's just been consistent, and that's probably the easiest way outside of winning to get into a playoffs. Just consistently run up front.
Yeah, and I'm not knocking him when I say that he's tough to race around. I commend his grit. It's just, we have the awards at the end of the year, and who's almost always the brick wall? It's Chris Evans.
Mm-hmm.
He is just a tough guy to get around, and he will defend you tooth and nail. So, he's holding on to that 10th spot, and it's going to be really interesting to see how things shake out.
Now, before we leave Phoenix, there is one topic that does not need to be overlooked, and it has happened multiple times this season. And if I didn't bring it up, I'm sure somebody would yell at us later for not bringing this up. But the teammates, the PPM guys, I have constantly stated in broadcast that arguably this is the best team in GLSR right now. They have showed multiple times that they could walk away and pull a Hendrick on any race they want. But yet, because it seems like that they have the pride, I guess we'll call this, maybe I don't want to call it arrogance or cockiness or anything like that, but they get out there and they put their pride on the line and race each other so hard that it hurts them. And it hurt them on Wednesday night.
Yeah, you could call it, I'd call it young pride for sure. Not only are they, one of the fastest teams in the league, they're one of the youngest. Yeah. They have all the young guys on them, and young, fast drivers have a high ego and a lot of pride. And I think that certainly gets the best of them a lot of times.
I commend the fact that they keep things interesting, because if they did have a little more reserve, man, we'd be even down by more points against them. It's, so exactly. I'm not gonna say, hey, stop doing it. No, keep doing it. From my perspective, for me, it's I'm trying to still get DOR into second in points. Sure, a PPM is completely out of the picture for getting them, but God, if me and Travis could just pull our head out of our asses for once, we're really, really close to getting aced in the team championship, which is still we're talking about the driver championship. The team championship is still pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how things shift for next season with teams, because I think there will be some adjustments. I've already got some insider information of some surprise moves. Can't disclose it. I will honor their silence. It was for a paint scheme that I was commissioned early. They said, hey, we got a guy coming to our team. I want this paint ready for him. So already there's going to be some fun moves for season 5 I'm excited about. But if just Travis or I could not obliterate her. But then again, if I could have just not crashed, Travis spun twice and spun someone else and still got top 10 at Phoenix. So, what am I doing?
Don't forget he hit his nose in the same spot exactly in 2 different wrecks.
So yeah, it's the consistency. If we could just finish out a race, but yeah, I'm. If there's anything else for the Phoenix race we want to talk about, or the playoff picture, we know how thrilling of a track Michigan can be, especially the significance it holds for this league. Great Lakes Sim Racing, the founders from Michigan, many of the drivers are from Michigan. There's a lot of just home pride for this race, so should be crazy.
Yeah, man, I'm so stoked that Michigan and Chicagoland are a staple to this league. I would love to get California on there as well, but I've beat a horse on that one in the Discord suggestions. But I don't want to get on this long topic of track selection, but I think who honestly made a really good point about taking out super speedways. And at first I totally disagreed with him, but once you put Auto Club and Michigan in the schedule for during the same season, I don't know. It sounds good.
Well, it's actually, and I'm not going to get into on the air. At least I'm not going to get into this topic because I feel that I'll be spoiling the schedule by doing this. But there is an idea that has come to my mind. It is something that I said last week in the podcast that with what, and I might, if Sam, you're going to be the only person that understands what I'm about to say. I think if you put 2 and 2 together, because you've showed me what you've shown me a preview of what the schedule could look like. But there's there's a part of that schedule where if you go back to the podcast last week, I mentioned it with 2 other tracks that you could end up doing with part of that schedule. That's all I'm going to say. But with that said, I'm looking forward to it. I've never been a part, broadcast or racing wise, of a league that doesn't have a super speedway. I think it's an experiment that would be cool to try. I personally love super speedway racing, but that's the fun part of sitting back and watching you guys work the process, because as I stated last week, I can count on my hand how many bad races this league has had, and I'm not even on my full hand yet. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that transpires when that gets released.
I definitely feel like, and this is, again, I was talking in coded chat, so I do apologize, William, but I appreciate the balance that we have with the admins and what we want, because we all want very different things. And I think it results in a very balanced schedule, because we are not and I'm not saying that any of these are wrong, we are not a short track league. We are not a super speedway league. I love the fact that we keep things balanced and varied and fresh, because we all have different things that we like. I'm still back and forward on what to do about the super speedways. There are definitely vastly different opinions on the admin side of things. We'll leave that there for now. But unless we got anything else about the playoffs, I think it's time to get busted into this interview, because there's a lot of fascinating things I'd like to get to know about William, Keith, Squilliam, Calhoun.
Jimmy.
Yeah. All right. You know, I wouldn't even brought that up if I knew there was an interview. Heck yeah, talk about me. Let's go.
Chris, you want to take it away first?
I don't even know where to go with this one, but man, it's obviously cool to have you here and be on the podcast and stuff as the first ever champion. But I got to ask, obviously, share your story about the start of iRacing for you. Obviously, we all have our own little stories where we heard about it or wherever it came from. But talk about the start of William or Keith on iRacing.
Yeah, I guess if you take it a step back, it all started probably with Gran Turismo 5 on the PlayStation 3. Yeah. That was my, aside from Need for Speed. Okay, I played Need for Speed as a kid, all of them.
Which one? Which one's your favorite? I gotta know.
Most Wanted.
Ooh, good one.
That's a good one. I think Underground 2 is number 1 for me, but Most Wanted is really good.
Oh, I remember sinking so much time into Underground 2. That's at least second best, if not first. But it started there. I'd always played racing games. But getting into iRacing, I got Forza Horizon 3. And I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, I hadn't played a racing game in a really long time. I thought it was super cool, but I was looking, you know, I started to get the itch of, I don't know, man, this just is too arcadey. So I just Googled. I had no idea about iRacing. I started Googling racing simulators or racing simulations. A couple things came up, you know, Race Room, Assetto Corsa, and iRacing. And, you know, no one has the online aspect, you know, nailed down as good as iRacing does. So I got a G29, typical, you know, thing for any beginner simulation racer to get is a G29. And back then they were really cheap before COVID spiked the prices. And I did it for 1 month and I didn't like it. I did it for 1 month and I sold my racing wheel. And I took a year off and then I got the itch again. And I don't know if I matured a little bit, or got a little bit more patient. But I loved it. Did a lot of ovals for the first year. Hated doing road. Now road is pretty much the only thing I do officially, at least. And so the rest is history. I mean, how many thousands of dollars have I sunk into it now? I can't tell you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've probably spent so much money on iRacing. I know I've got a few $1,000s myself into it, and going from there, and also you just explained, I think, why the field got I can't even say the word, destroyed. How about we'll go with that word at Canadian Tire a few weeks ago by you. But talk about some things that let's dig into the life a little bit. Obviously, you just had a little one, and I've learned this myself. Having a little one now at the age of 2, I actually stepped away from iRacing for over a year, and obviously focused on life and stuff. But talk about the balance, because you never know when something's going to come up while you're on the track. Not to mention work life, all these different things. But talk about that balance that you've had to learn of being a dad and getting out here on iRacing.
Yeah, you're right. Since having my son, I haven't done any official racing. I might hop on and turn some laps just for fun here and there. But I really, honestly, since having my son, the only racing I've done is Wednesday nights. So that's the one thing I keep on my schedule. But it's just it's tough. I just don't have the same energy. And then it's just, you sit down, and then you never know when you're going to need to get up. So really, there's no way I could do official. I mean, I could if I really didn't care about iRating and all that, but I kind of do, unfortunately. So I keep the Wednesday night on the schedule and put my focus into that.
Do you do much practice for those races, or like the fact that you can show up cold turkey and bang out the races that you do blows my mind. Again, it goes to a credit to your skill, but that's just amazing to me if that's what you're doing.
You're way too kind. I not trying to be like a humble brag or anything like that.
Just go for it.
The only race that I practiced a lot for, 4 or 5 hours, 6 maybe, was Atlanta. Yeah, since Atlanta, I haven't practiced aside from the 30 minutes I'm able to right before the race.
All right, that makes me mad about Canadian Tire, the fact that you blew me away that hard. But you know what? My pride will be it's fine.
Hey,
it's fine.
I don't I don't want to humble brag either, but I was running my heel toe setup on that race, so I wasn't using auto blip or anything like that. It was all manual inputs, which I'm pretty proud of, to be honest. That I didn't spin it or anything.
Couldn't you have? I was running in second for a bit. You couldn't have just spun it once. You couldn't have let me have hope.
Hey, the more impressive part is he just straight old schooled the field.
Yeah.
His heel toe is like 1995-ish stuff.
Right.
That's pretty impressive on that end. But yeah, it's incredible to hear that kind of thing, because it's like you get out there on the track and you race hard, and obviously you've had your battles with some drivers of the past and the present and stuff like that. But yeah, we go back to season 3. You ran some races, and obviously the little one comes. I believe it was about mid-season or towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
But it seems like this season you have found that balance when it comes to being on the track. You've got the 2 wins on the season, but season 3 you didn't have any. What is the difference between? Well, you went all the way to season 2. From what I saw when you won that race earlier this season, I'm like, man, this guy hasn't won since season 2, which was very now. Granted, Ricky Springer won everything, including the lottery, in season 3.
I was about to say the answer is 2 words. It's Ricky Springer.
Right, but what I'm saying is you didn't see the same count. At least I didn't from the broadcast booth. I did not see that same consistent top 5 Calhoun that I saw in those first 2 seasons, and I'm seeing again in season 4. I don't know if you're feeling that, or maybe there was not a difference and I'm hallucinating, but was there a difference?
No, I don't want to say your facts are wrong or this, you didn't look at the stats, but I feel this has been my toughest season so far. Um, I I have 2 wins,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't get into the top 10 for playoffs until after race 7.
Now, granted, you missed a race too, so I got to give you credit for that.
I got a provisional,
Okay.
yes, but you are correct
And
there.
I'm not, and me punching down. Oh, Sam from his mighty 16th place in the championship. Both of his wins came as specialty. One was a dirt win, one was a
Exactly.
road win, and for some guys, they're just fish out of water out there. He's a remarkable talent who heel-toed the field at a road course after I tried my damnedest to get him and was literally 20 seconds behind him. But that is fair. Where it has been a tougher year, but when the opportunities have come, you've delivered.
Yeah, exactly. I know I'm not the best at ovals, and I know I'm not, going to. My chances at winning an oval is extremely low, especially with the new talent on board. I don't even know which. I think Michigan is the only one that I can actually name. So when it comes to road courses and dirt races, I know that's the night that I really need to show up and put the work in. So focus levels for those races is like extremely high.
Do you
I
still
just
feel?
can't believe that you said you don't think you can win. I'm sorry. I'm reeling from the fact that William Calhoun just said, I don't think I can win a race. And that just shows how crazy tough it's gotten in this league.
And this is the difference between season 1 and season 4. And I brought this up as a joke on Wednesday because something happened in practice, and it was all for fun between William and a teammate. And the teammate thought William was actually mad at him. And I threw this joke out there at him. And it's ironic we're coming to Michigan this weekend, but we go back to season 1, and it's still one of my 2 biggest upsets in this league's history, especially now, 3 seasons later, to see. I just read something about the actual race that just ended. Somebody I actually have gotten to know pretty well as an actual racer won the race. So, anyways, that's kind of cool. The
Or was it Austin Hill?
So the race at Michigan 4 seasons ago, because of what has transpired in this young man's life, and obviously not being around at times, and then struggling and things like that. All of a sudden now this becomes one of the biggest upsets in league history. But when I believe it was you got passed on the last lap at Michigan season 1 by not Hanley. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of a previous race I just ran. Anthony Marshall for that win.
Is that how
I believe
happened?
it was the last lap pass. I know Marshall passed somebody. It might not have been you. I'm going off memory from 3 seasons ago.
I know
but
that
Marshall,
Calhoun and Amon had a close finish at Michigan, didn't they?
Yeah, so that one that Anthony won, it is a huge deal for Anthony. That was his first win in the league, right, and the only win he's had so far, which is incredible that he got that win. But he, at the end, it was him and 2 other drivers that were battling for the win, because I believe that race almost went completely green.
Yes, because you guys went off strategy, if I remember correctly, in that race.
Yeah, yeah. I lost my teammates. Dean got a speeding penalty. Alman did something that messed him up, so my teammates weren't with me. I pulled off a 4th, but there was the race where Alman and I at Michigan were split. I don't even think it was 1 truck length. I'm pretty sure we were door to door, nearly coming across the line. So Michigan, it produces really great finishes.
Yeah, this would be obviously the 4th running of the race. As I see this, actually, these numbers here are a little bit different, but some reason obviously a little error on the website. But yeah, Marshall won the race in season 1, Miller season 2. I'm trying to see this right. Did Laxton win last season? I don't remember that for some reason.
Boy, I need to look back. I can't remember, which is I don't think I missed
Anyways,
that.
that's scored
That
on the
was
website.
during the period when I missed some races.
Yeah, but needless to say, though, we've seen the wildness of the race, and there in Michigan, obviously 3 wide, 4 wide, drafting coming into play, pit strategy, and all these different things. But for you, obviously you're one that hasn't gotten a win yet at this track, but it seems like you're right there.
No, I have.
So, now I'm confused.
I have. I beat Amin. Amin and I were coming to the line, and I beat him by a couple feet.
All right, I got to talk to Akavachi on the website because that's my source. I'm like, I'm going to the website to get all the information, but dadgummit. But no, and he does a great job on the website. I'm not trying to bash him on that, but he does a great job on this website. So, but obviously nobody's perfect.
No, so I'm extremely confident going into the race. I've always finished within the top 10, if not all top 5s. At Michigan. I just love the style of Michigan and Auto Club, and they're just fun tracks, and I just seem to figure it out. And it goes green. Drivers spinning into the backstretch infield. The caution doesn't come out, so we get a ton of green flag racing. I'm usually pretty good on long runs, so it just suits me.
Now, Chris, do we want to get into some of the more quote unquote rapid fire questions we got, or do we have any other big questions that we want to make sure that we get in before we get into that whole segment?
I think we could get into that, but no, I think question wise, obviously we've gotten to learn a little bit personally about how Keith got into the iRacing business and stuff, and actually, and as I say that now, let me go and throw this one at you. What got you into racing in the first place?
Never did it in real life other than like K1. I guess this. My dad was a huge NASCAR fan growing up. We'd watch the races, every Sunday. So that was probably my gateway drug to racing, I guess you could say.
I got a question. And this is off, maybe not one of our scripted rapid fires. You're just fast. You put you on an oval and you can win. You put you on dirt and you can win. You put on a road, you can win. What is your favorite to do? Because I just feel like you can produce pretty much in any environment. Which one, are you? Because you say you mainly do official road. How did you get here?
Well, when I first started iRacing, I did oval for the first 2 years. And that was my main thing because I didn't have the patience for road. I was bad at it. I didn't want to take the time to practice it. Because you can show up to an oval and there's 4 turns. You show up to a road course, you have 7 to 20, 19, depending on the track. That it's just a whole lot more to learn. So, but I don't know, since getting that patience and figuring out road, it's just, I don't know. I love oval, but road is just more relaxing, I think, is what it comes down to. There is not as much door-to-door, bumper-to-bumper racing. When there is, it's fast and furious and it's good, but it doesn't last for a ton of time, just like oval does. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling when you get into the rhythm of a road race or the track, and you become one with all the turns. It feels good, basically.
No, I totally get
so
that.
my favorite, I have to say road, but I love it all. I think, and if any driver that's looking to excel or improve, go experiment on the dirt, go experiment on the road, because those skills directly translate to oval racing, and doing oval racing can directly translate skills to road and dirt. So it all goes hand in hand, and if you can do it all, you're gonna eventually get good.
I mean, look at Kyle Larson.
At it all.
Yeah,
exactly. Good at everything.
Yeah. give him a steering wheel, he'll win. Like, all right, Chris, you want to start firing off some of these questions we scripted out?
Yeah, we got some pretty tough ones here. Hope you got your seatbelt on. This is going to be very very tough for you. I don't know if somebody's
all right. So are these questions? I don't think about it. I just say the first thing that comes up.
Maybe. We
or,
can't,
or are they like actual?
we can't.
I mean, we all love audio dead space, so take all the time you need.
I mean, we can't. We can't promise anything here. They could be those kind of ones. There could be just anything. You never know.
It's a little bit of both.
If I go straight off the noggin, I cannot promise what I say will make me look good. Or
that's what makes great radio. So here we go.
All right, question number 1. All right, I'm letting you off the hook usually here. Biggest win of your GLSR career?
Oh golly.
Okay, maybe I didn't.
But I have 9. I have 8 of them. One of them's got to be good. Oh, I'd say Dirt Bristol. Because I nearly choked it after doing so well. And then the finish was absolutely amazing. So I'd say that's probably my most memorable, biggest win.
Is that because you could actually see second place outside your windshield?
Yes.
Yeah, he didn't need binoculars to see second.
I've never finished a race in reverse. So.
All right.
Shout out to Caden Atkins.
All right, I got one for you. Now, you got a little one, and I know he's not ready yet, but when the time comes, what's the first car and track you're putting him on the sim with?
Shoot. Who knows where iRacing will be within the next 6 years or so. But I don't know, probably Pontiac Solstice at that's a tough one. Summit Point, I don't know.
Interesting. Because Pontiac Solstice is good, but I was going to say Tsukuba. But that's me.
Yeah, I thought of Tsukuba, and now I'm honestly thinking of Kansas Enfield.
Oh.
Or Daytona Enfield Shore.
Well, you've got options.
But I don't know. I'm also maybe just putting him on an oval in a slow car would probably, honestly, that'd probably be the first step so he can learn how to at least drive straight.
All right, so Miata on Talladega. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. I don't know. Maybe Chicago Street Course and the Williams FW31.
See, you can really put him to the test.
If he wrecks it, he's grounded.
Wow, no pressure. No pressure.
So, how did you beat Max Verstappen for most wins ever? Well, sorry, I did just say Max Verstappen's going to get more wins than Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if I want to admit that. I like Lewis more than Max, but hey.
Wait, is that a Max Verstappen? How many wins does he have?
Not near as many as Lewis. I don't know. God, I need to look up the stat now. I mean, maybe he's got 7. I don't know. Not gonna look it up.
Okay, because he's got 3 this year, right?
All right. Well, Chris, you ask him a question, and I'm gonna look that up.
You do that, and but I gotta ask a favorite song you're listening to right now.
Something by Slipknot, probably. Let's see. I got Spotify right here. I don't know. I've I got a weird taste in music. I'll go straight from the Dixie Chicks to Slipknot without blinking an eye.
It's a hell of a mashup.
It really is. But something by Slipknot. I got to go with that. That's been my workout mix. This is Slipknot on Spotify, and that mix has helped me lose a lot of weight.
Wow.
So I'm going to go with something by Slipknot.
That's awesome.
For those of you keeping track at home, Max Verstappen has 15 career Formula One wins. Lewis Hamilton has 98. So we'll see how good Red Bull stays. Now, I'm intrigued to see what you say because I think this is going to become a standard question for all of our guests. I asked this to Chris last week. What's the greatest race in the world?
The greatest race in the world? Huh. That in any series, any form of racing, the greatest race in the world.
And it could be a past race.
Are you saying like a specific car track combo like Formula One at Spa, or are you saying like specifically which race?
Yeah, like car track combo, like you would say the Daytona 500, the Monaco Grand Prix, the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
It's definitely not Monaco. That race is boring. Man, I don't know. Because I really on TV I really only watch F1 and NASCAR, so it's gonna be some race between those two series, and I gotta say, controversial or not, I enjoy watching F1 more than I enjoy watching NASCAR. So it's gotta be some F1 race, but I can't pinpoint it because I'm a new fan.
All right. Well, what about maybe not greatest race? I mean, I'll tell you what track I think has always delivered on being the most exciting, and that's Baku.
This is the first season where I've watched almost every race. So I'm still a new fan learning, what is good racing in F1, but Baku was super exciting. Definitely.
I've never watched a boring Baku race. I mean, every race is something insane or crazy. The monster straights, the narrow. I love street circuits. There's something about the fact that your tolerance for failure is a wall, and that's what I love about that. That's why I loved Belle Isle.
Yeah.
It's a thrill all of its own. And that was one of the few road races where I got to lead for a little bit when you and JW came together, but then you passed me. Chris, I think you got a question for him.
I do. And this one, he made the preemptive comment of some of the answers he might affect people's feelings for him in the league. So we're going to put you in Travis's seat for a second here, Mr. Calhoun. You're the guy running GLSR. Okay. What's the first change you make?
PPM. They're gone. No, I'm totally kidding. To be honest, I'm friends with everyone on PPM. They're young, but like they're all. I've been racing with the PPM drivers for years. So it's nothing but love towards them. The first change that I would make to GLSR, it's a pretty easy one. I don't have to put much thought into this. It's the playoffs. I think the playoff schedule specifically. So, right now it's 5 races, 4 to figure out the, top 4 for the 5th and final race. Well, I think those 4 races should include a road course, a dirt track, an intermediate, and a short track. You're taking, 4 very different, disciplines and styles of racing to figure out who truly is the best racer in the league. Then you go to Chicagoland, which I think should always be, the staple. At least while Black Horizon Brewing is the title sponsor, the finale should always be Chicagoland. But that's the first change I would make.
See, I love that idea. I mean, somewhere Dean has just woken from a cold sweat, asleep in Texas, just going,
what did you say?
I mean, the amount of arguments we've gotten into over this stuff is comical because I'll do stuff like that in our schedules. So I'm like, so guess what, guys? Our first race of the playoffs is going to be Chicago Street, followed by this and such. And Dean is just he goes apoplectic. So but I see. All right, I vote for. I like that idea. But to shift gears a bit on this. What's the biggest life lesson racing has taught you?
It's that's an easy question too. Thank you guys for giving me these softballs.
Pleasure.
Holy cow. Patience. I think the biggest life lesson I have learned from sim racing is to have patience. In racing, and it's obvious why you want patience. Either it's because you let a faster guy pass so that he can blow off his tires, and you get the pass on him later down the road after you've conserved, or you're patient watching the battle in front of you, waiting for the two guys to either take each other out or again blow their tires. But I don't know, man, just having patience in your actual life can lead to a lot of great things.
Solid.
Very
answer.
interesting. Very interesting answer there. And it makes a lot of sense because, you got to be patient in life because, things are going to be thrown at you from left field, right field, and every other field. And you just never know, what's going to happen, heck, each hour, let alone each day. So it makes sense there. So being a guy from Texas, living down there in the South, we obviously know you and I have great conversations about food. Each and every time we interview on the air, and it would not be fitting unless I asked you a food question here on the air on the podcast. So let's go with this one. And now I know you're on a little bit of a different kind of diet meal right now, which is fine. But let's take the diet out for a second. What is the perfect brisket?
Oh my gosh, I gotta be honest, you're asking the wrong guy. Smoked, I don't know what do you do with a brisket.
Well, you seasoning, how you prepare it, because you can't just let's just throw in the old smoker and let her go. You got to do stuff to it. If it's seasoning to it, I know I've seen on food shows where people put different types of ingredients on it before they throw it in. Do you all different types of things? Sounds like you're the basic guy, but which is fine. But it was just like, all right, what's the perfect brisket?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, just straight off the noggin, what I think would make a really good brisket. Right. It's just I have not done it. I haven't seen anyone do it. Maybe someone does it, but you got to do it, I think, slow and low. Mm-hmm. And I think doing something with like apples and cinnamon seasoning.
Okay.
And then something to give it that savory kick. That would go good with like an apple cinnamon rub or something. I don't know. I don't know.
I see what you're saying there. I like that idea. The only question I come with, most people add like pepper and stuff like a seasoning to the outer edge, obviously of the meat itself, which I think makes brisket, one of the top things to eat, especially when you get that smoked outside taste too. So do you do that with the apple cinnamon on the inside, or are you layering the outside of it apple cinnamon?
Like, do you mean like injecting it?
I guess you could say, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that sounds bomb, to be honest, with the apple cinnamon injection. Maybe like even like a hint of like peach in there.
I've been Georgia in this.
And then someone hopefully listening can create that or something and let us know.
Well, man, I got nothing to add here. I'm just some Yankee into pizza, so I'll keep quiet.
I will say this: pizza is the best meal, hands down. I don't care. Right. I don't care where I'm.
Has anybody ever done brisket on a pizza?
I'm sure someone.
I just thought about this.
Did I? It's one of okay. There's a town in Illinois, western-ish, called Peoria. It's a college town. Well,
yeah, I've heard of it.
Peoria,
I've heard of it.
There's this one restaurant there. It's called One World. They make this mean Cubano pizza. I know that's not brisket. That's ham and whatever goes on a Cubano sandwich, but it's hella good. But enough about pizza and how Chicago is obviously the capital.
Don't you do that
anywhere else? No, New York can go suck it and go jump off a cliff. New York's a dump. Anyway,
look, I bet the Chinese buffets in Chicago have good pizza.
That's maybe a fair point, but yeah, you were catching grief last week for the comment you made about the New York pizza, and now you threw that bomb out.
They can come at me. I don't care.
I'm already becoming I'm already becoming the best co-host of the show. It's only taken me 2 episodes.
Someone's got to be the villain. So no,
Yeah.
everyone think. So they're just wrong. They're just wrong. And
You said it's me though.
Well, come on up here and have some. Anyways, I got a fun question. Considering we're gonna just keep stirring that pot. Who is someone in GSLR that people wouldn't expect to be your rival, but is?
I think I know that answer.
Oh, man.
I said wouldn't expect, not the obvious answer. Sure, we can all pick out someone, but
wow, man, I don't. That's a tough one because I can recall 1.5 rivalries that I've ever had in the league.
And obviously, the one is who I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Probably does his last name start with an M and end with Miller?
Yeah, there you go. And I say that because I wouldn't expect JW to be a rival with many people. I mean, yes, he doesn't. He does make some maybe not the best racing decisions, but he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Oh yeah, he's a class act for sure. And we're on the same road racing team, so and there really shouldn't have been any bad blood, but things how things go when you're so evenly matched and it's just you and this other guy week in week out battling, like it can get heated easily. Right. But I guess unsuspecting, maybe Caden Atkins. Him and I have been racing for 3 years now together in various leagues, and we're good friends. He recruited me to the road racing league that we're on, as an oval driver. It was originally a oval team, but it became one of the biggest road racing teams on iRacing. But I was his first recruit. We were on the same oval team for a long time, but on track, you saw at Bristol, we have no problem getting together and putting that chrome horn out there and moving each other. So maybe that would be the most unsuspecting rivalry.
See, I wouldn't have done all that. That's good.
I think that just comes with when you've been racing with someone for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Yeah, I think y'all both just realize like it's racing, and at the end of the day, you've been doing it together so long that like, what's really gonna hurt your friendship? Like, not this.
It shouldn't.
Exactly. So I mean, plus you're more comfortable to race harder when you've known them for a long time.
I guess it's on me. And you've kind of asked this question or answered this question a little bit already when you talked about obviously the little one getting into racing later and stuff like that. What is something you would like to do on iRacing that you have not done yet?
Finish the Bathurst 1000.
Yes.
I've started it 2 years, and me and my team have wrecked out 2 years. It's a tough race.
Well, put me down on the list for that race when it comes up because, God, I love doing that race so much.
I've never considered running that race, but maybe it's one I ought to try. I mean, I'm more of just throw me in I just ran the GT3 at Watkins Glen a few weeks ago, or, I know I've had a couple guys talk about doing the Le Mans race, and usually we run the 218 out there on that one. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I've never thought about driving the Falcon or whatever they drive in Bathurst.
Oh, the you got the Holden, and then now you have the Mustang.
Although pretty soon they're going to have the new Camaro and Mustang out. Is that next year or year after where they're going to be switching that over to the new body style? I'm pretty sure a new body style is coming for supercars.
Yeah, new body style is definitely coming. I don't know when. I would think probably next year every series, every major series is having a new body style. F1, NASCAR, and supercars. So I'm sure we'll get it in iRacing very soon. Well, not as soon as NASCAR, but
Well, I love Bathurst. Again, it's a perfect combination of, again, a technical, twisty, walled section with blasting straights. So it is still one of my favorite races. So you let me know when you want to do that, and I'll join in on the fun.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you're right about that track. I mean, even just driving it for shits and giggles is a good time on with any car almost.
It's generally where I like to
So
shake down a car is as actually at that track.
yeah, you're not. Everyone's got their preferred shakedown track, huh? Like Sim Racing Garage, his is Sebring, which is I think is an awesome track to be a shakedown track. But everyone's got that one track where a new car comes out, and that's like the first place they go. And I think Bathurst is certainly a great shakedown track.
All right. Well, I think that I think I've got at least the last scheduled question for our little rapid fire. We'll see where it goes. So like, what's your next name gonna be after William? After you got over Keith, now it's William. What's the next one gonna be? I think Cal would be cool. Shorten the last name.
I've thought about this, and I think I'm just gonna shorten it to just one single name. It's just going to be Pontoon.
All right. See, now I'm excited that we get like a little sneak preview of the next season name. It was just like, well, okay. In all seriousness, it's funny because I don't know what it is, but Keith Calhoun rolls off the tongue so much more naturally to me than William Calhoun, and I don't know if it's just the one syllable, two syllable as opposed to two syllable. But like, man, I'll tell you what, I have to think about it still. Where I'm like Keith William Calhoun.
Yeah, no, y'all call me what you want. I've never had an issue with it, but William is my professional name that I go by, outside of iRacing. So I figured, well, why not bring it to iRacing?
Guess I'll have to go. I'll have to go with Willie C.
Yeah, Willie C, Pontoon, Calhoun, Squilliam, Squilly Bob, Will. I'm good at it all.
All right. Well, I mean, we've been going here for roughly an hour. I know the last episode was a lengthy one because we had a lot to cover, but I'm gonna just open the floor up to you. I know we've been asking you a lot of questions and asking you just about the history of the league and random stuff like that. But is there anything else that you want to just share, express, chat about while you've got the stage?
Oh, that's better than what I thought I was about to hear. I thought you were going to have him ask us questions. I'm like, hey, whoa, I know where this can go.
No, I'm not that vain. I don't want to, I can keep talking about myself, but
yeah, who's got the most broadcastable body part?
Yeah, and one of our feedback from another driver whose name I won't mention talks about body parts that. Yeah, I don't know if we won't even go that route. Let's just put it like that.
But yeah, no. In all seriousness, you said this isn't a advertisement for GLSR. Look how amazing this league is. But I mean, I gotta say, this is an amazing league. It's the best league I've ever driven in over the past 3 years that I've been on iRacing. Has the best admin team. Travis puts in an incredible amount of time on the website, on the product of the league. Scala with the with the fantasy pick videos. Like, you guys are so extra, and it's amazing to be a part of it. And like, y'all, please, if you're listening, check out GreatLakesSimRacing.com and join the league for season 5, because it's gonna be a heater. It's gonna be, one of the best seasons yet. I already know, and we're not even done with season 4.
All right. Well, that feels like a pretty good wrap up. If you have been listening and gotten this far and you've not watched a race, we broadcast Wednesdays at 9 EST on Captain TV on YouTube. Please go follow Captain TV on YouTube. On his Twitter, go search GreatLakesSimRacing.com. You can play along in our fantasy league, where every week you get a chance to play in our fantasy league and get a chance to win a butt kicker, which is you can win a butt kicker just by watching us race. Like, why aren't you doing this? Go follow our Instagram, go follow our Twitter. I am just so overjoyed that, as again, I think we've passed the year mark. We're pretty close. That we have people like you who come and race and just look forward to it, because it just makes me feel geeked that guys care to race here and love to do it. And then we get to keep guys like you and Alan and a lot of different guys in the league who've been around since the beginning, and that just makes me happy. So thanks for listening, and don't worry, we're just here for the GSLR.